Good evening, I'm Sapsanamma. Let's begin with the headlines of the hour. Premier Dahal informs Parliament about his India visit, says discussions were held with his Indian counterpart regarding effective implementation of Nepal-India treaties and bilateral agreements. NC President Dewa says ending the tendency to deceit would encourage more women for leadership. General Secretary Sharma challenges CPN Nepal to prove Congress's involvement in Giribandhu scandal. Hundreds dead during this year's Hajj pilgrimage. Extreme heat proves fatal as the faithful began the journey last Friday to the Kaaba at the Grand Mosque in Saudi Arabia. And England defeats West Indies, the co-host of the ICC T20 World Cup, by 8 wickets in the Super 8 match held this morning. Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal, addressing the Parliament session today, has said during his India visit, he talked with his Indian counterpart Narendra Modi regarding the effective implementation of the treaties and bilateral agreements between Nepal and India. This comes after growing calls from lawmakers that the Premier inform the Parliament regarding his visit to India. Premier Dahal said he held bilateral talks with Indian President, Prime Minister, ministers and representatives of various sectors. He also added that his meeting with Indian Premier Modi dwelt on strengthening the border mechanism between the two countries and activate the mechanisms through meetings. Premier Dahal also added that he held serious discussions on the implementation of the Pancheswar multi-purpose project, Arun hydropower, and collaborate with India in agriculture sector.
नेपाल र भारत बीच व्यापार विस्तार लगायत नेपालका प्राथमिकता प्राप्त क्षेत्रमा भारतीय लगानी बढाउने बारेमा गम्भीर र सकारात्मक छलफल भएको थियो। नयाँ दिल्लीमा रहँदा नेपाली दूतावासले आयोजना गरेको कार्यक्रममा सहभागी हुनुको साथै भारतका विभिन्न राजनीतिक दलका नेता, नेपालका मित्रहरू तथा नेपाली सङ्घ संस्थाका प्रतिनिधिहरूसँग मेरो भेटघाट एवं समसामयिक विषयमा विचारको आदान-प्रदान भयो।
Prime Minister Dahal also informed that he had invited the Indian Premier for Nepal visit, which the latter said would be done at an appropriate time. During the session today, Premier Dahal also informed the Parliament about President Ramchandra Paudil's Switzerland and Germany visits. Regarding the budget announced by the government for the next fiscal year, Premier Dahal has said it had been designed in a proportional way. He also addressed the criticisms to the budget by suggesting that it was not minister-centered and expressed commitment that the practice would continue in the future. Premier Dahal also said the political upheavals before the budget formulation had influenced the federal government's decision to not take up programs that are of less than 30 million rupees investment. He clarified that the government wanted to ensure the budget and policies and programs were pragmatic and result-oriented and made sure that there were no duplication between the federal, provincial and local levels. Deputy Prime Minister and Home Minister Ravi Lamichhane has said the location of GB Rai, alleged of mishandling cooperatives' money and subsequently absconding, has been ascertained. Addressing a program speaking with the media at the Bharatpur airport, Chitwan, Minister Lamichhane said he had corresponded with his Malaysian counterpart and confirmed that GB Rai's location had been ascertained. Lamichhane also said efforts are underway to extradite Rai from Malaysia. However, the delay was a result of technical issues.
यो अनुसन्धानको विषयमा हामीले निरन्तर रूपमा काम गरेर धेरै नजिक आएको छौं। यो बीचमा दुई पटक मेरो मलेसियाका गृह मन्त्रीसँग कुराकानी भएको छ। आजभन्दा 3 दिन 4 दिन जति अगाडि पनि मेरो उहाँसँग कुराकानी भएको छ। यो हाम्रो सुपुर्दगी सन्धि नभएका कारणले गर्दाखेरि अलिकति यो कूटनीतिक पहलहरुमा अलिकति समय लागेको छ, तर नजिक छौं। हाम्रो कोशिश दिन-रात हामी गरि नै रहेका छौं र मैले भनिहाले तपाईहरुले नतिजा पाउनुहुन्छ।
कहाँ छन् भन्ने थाहा छ?
हामीलाई थाहा भइसक्यो छ। मलाई गृह मन्त्रीजीले नै कन्फर्म गर्नुभएको छ लोकेसन।
Home Minister Ravi Lamichhane also clarified that the speculations that efforts were underway to replace the Inspector General of Police were baseless, and he claimed that he would not encroach any due process. Meanwhile, Nepali Congress President Sherbadu Dewa has said that putting an end to deceit inside the party could facilitate more women for leadership position. Addressing a program held in Kathmandu, Dewa said that women members of other parties were winning elections and identified the need to put an end to the trend of women candidates of Nepali Congress losing elections. Another Congress leader, Shekhar Koirala, said that instead of forming alliances with other political parties because of the fear of deceit, Nepali Congress should unite, which would create a challenge for other parties to defeat it. Nepali Congress General Secretary Bishwa Prakash Sharma challenged former Prime Minister and CPN UML Chair KP Sharma Oli to prove his allegation, where he had accused Nepali Congress of receiving commission to sell the land of Giribandhu Tea Estate. Speakers at the program stressed on the need to prioritize women in leadership positions and elections. It is time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion. The question is, where within hospitals do you see the most irregularity? Your options are A, treatment and human resource, B, medicine and equipment, and C, management. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. The U.S. Agency for International Development, USAID, has claimed that around 270,000 farmers have been benefited by their Farmers 2 project. The project that began in 2017 and will continue until July next month has contributed in increasing production by 139% and to sell agricultural produce worth $470 million. Minister for Agriculture and Livestock Development, Jwala Kumari Shah, said that the project has also contributed in revising plans for development of agriculture in the country and its prioritization. During the ceremony on project's conclusion, the government has been handed equipment and technology that will aid in development of the sector. The U.S. government's Feed the Future program that started in the year 2011 has already provided $181 million in grant to more than 800,000 Nepali farmers with a view to improve production and sales of agricultural produce. Time now for international update. Nearly 2 million Muslims will reach the end of the Hajj pilgrimage this week, but extreme heat has proved fatal for hundreds who began the journey last Friday to Kaaba at the Grand Mosque in Mecca in Saudi Arabia. At least 562 people have died during the Hajj, according to a Reuters tally based on foreign ministry statements and sources. Egypt alone has registered 307 deaths and another 118 missing, medical and security sources have said, as temperatures at times soared past 51 degrees Celsius. During the Hajj to Kaaba, a cube-shaped stone structure at the Grand Mosque, pilgrims perform religious rites as taught by the Prophet Muhammad to his followers 14 centuries ago. Integral parts of the Hajj, officials said, such as the ritual climb of Mount Arafat, have become incredibly dangerous to human health. The timing of the Hajj is determined by the lunar year, which sees the pilgrimage move back by 10 days annually. While the Hajj is now moving towards winter, by the 2040s, it will coincide with the peak of summer in Saudi Arabia. Heat-related deaths along the Hajj are not new and have been recorded back to the 1400s. A lack of acclimatization to higher temperature, intense physical exertion, exposed spaces and an older population makes pilgrims vulnerable. Last year, more than 2,000 people suffered from heat stress, according to Saudi officials. The situation will get much worse as the world warms, scientists say. Saudi health authorities have warned pilgrims to stay hydrated and avoid being outdoors between 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. during this Hajj. Spring water is only effective at temperatures below about 35 degrees Celsius, scientists said. If temperatures are too high, spring water does not help and can add to the risk in humid conditions when people struggle to shed heat through sweating. Palestinians in northern Gaza spoke of their struggles to access food and basic necessities in Gaza's Jabalia as the flow of aid remained hindered. Palestinians say the prices of basic food items had sharply risen.
فوق الدمار وفوق التدمير وفوق الهجوم وفوق الاحتلال وفوق الوضع الصعب كمان الأسعار يعني نار. طب ليش؟ ما فيش أكل كمان، إحنا مش لاقيين ناكل. ابني بصيح قاعد على خبز، إحنا المخابز فوق بعض وإحنا مش لاقيين غاز كمان نعجن أو نطبخ. إحنا إيش علبة الفاصوليا ولا علبة اللحم اللي بناكلها للطفل؟
Many families are depending on charities and soup kitchens for the distribution of cooked meals such as beans, bulgur or lentils, according to residents.
على التكية واقفين والله احنا عارفين ايش ناكل ما بنعملش اكل ولا شيء ونضلنا على التكية البرغل.
The flow of UN aid in the devastated Palestinian territory has been heavily squeezed since the start of Israeli military operations in Rafah in South Gaza, the key gateway into the enclave from Egypt. While Israel is coming under mounting global pressure to ease the crisis as humanitarian agencies warn of looming famine, it says there is no limit on humanitarian supplies for civilians in Gaza and has blamed the UN for slow deliveries. Israel's retaliatory offensive has not only killed more than 37,400 people, but created a humanitarian crisis with shortages of food, fuel and medicine, as well as water in a territory whose housing and infrastructure is now little more than a rubble. At least 31 are dead and over 60 are still being treated in hospitals after consuming tainted liquor in the southern Indian state of Tamil Nadu. Over 100 people suffering from vomiting, stomach ache and diarrhea have been admitted to hospitals in the Kallakurichi district, 250 kilometers by road from the state capital, Chennai, since Wednesday. The state government suspended at least 10 officials, including the district's collector and police chief, over the illicit liquor incident, according to a statement. Police arrested a 49-year-old local Govindaraj, who goes by his first name, for selling illicit liquor and also seized 200 liters of the methanol-mixed alcoholic drink, the government said. More than a dozen people died last year in a similar incident in a nearby district in Tamil Nadu. Russian President Vladimir Putin has arrived in Vietnam today for talks with the country's communist leaders after concluding a defense pact with North Korea for his final stop on a two-nation tour of Asia. Putin's aircraft touched down at Hanoi's International Airport, where he was met on a red carpet by the Vietnamese Deputy Prime Minister Tran Hong Han. In an opinion piece timed for his visit, Putin applauded the Southeast Asian communist-ruled country for supporting a pragmatic way to solve the crisis in Ukraine in comments published in Vietnam's Communist Party newspaper. Vietnam, which officially pursues a neutral foreign policy it calls bamboo diplomacy in its relations with world powers, has abstained from condemning Russia's attack on Ukraine, a stance that Western countries view as too close to Kremlin. The Southeast Asian country will be the third nation Putin has visited after China and North Korea since he was sworn in for a fifth term in May. Vietnam has been gearing up for a full state welcome for Putin, his first visit since 2017 and his fifth in total. Along with holding talks with Vietnam's top leaders, Putin will attend wreath-laying ceremonies, including at the Ho Chi Minh Mausoleum, housing the embalmed corpse of Vietnam's founding leader. Now, national cricket team has returned home after participating in the ongoing ICC T20 World Cup in USA and West Indies. The first of the two groups arrived at 1 a.m. and the second at 10 a.m. this morning. Although Nepal's goal of defeating two test nations and make place in the second round of the World Cup was lost, Nepal put up a memorable performance against ICC's full member nations. Despite putting up good display, Nepal had lost to South Africa and Bangladesh by slim margins.
हजुरले सोच्नु भएको थियो हामीले एक रनले हार्छौं भन्ने सोच्नु भएको थिएन नि त त्यसले गर्दा कहीं न कहीं राम्रो थियो एक्सपीरियन्स बंगलादेशलाई पनि भनौं न जस्तो विकेट थियो र जुन टेस्ट नेसन कन्ट्रीलाई जसले हामीले डोमिनेट गर्यो हैन त्यो कहीं न कहीं राम्रो एक्सपीरियन्स थियो कहीं न कहीं हामीले एउटा बाउन्ड्री लाइन मात्र पार गर्न नसक्या हो आई होप इन फ्युचरमा चाहिँ हामीले त्यो गर्छौं र नेपाल टिमलाई राम्ररी ग्रो गर्छौं.
Nepal had lost its match against the Netherlands by 6 wickets and the match against Sri Lanka was abandoned due to rain. In the West Indies leg, Nepal had lost to South Africa by 1 run and Bangladesh by 21. Nepal had kept both the teams under pressure, however failed to finish well.
Actually, I don't want to remember that. The moment different थियो हैन first time हामी एउटा टेस्ट प्लेइङ नेसनलाई जित्न गइरहेको छौं हैन त्यो मोमेन्ट त्यस्तै थियो अलि नराम्रो नै थियो भनौं. होइन अब हेर्नुहुन्छ बङ्गलादेश साउथ अफ्रिका टिम हेर्नुहुन्छ सब एक्सपिरियन्स प्लेयरहरू छन् सब अब लिगहरू खेलिरहेको छन् अब जस्तै लास्ट 2-3 ओभरमा अब तिनीहरूको डेप्थ ओभर बलर राम्रो थियो हैन अब हाम्रो पनि राम्रो नै थियो अब त्यो अब तिनीहरूको स्किल अलिकति हाम्रो भन्दा राम्रो भयो जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई हैन सो अब धेरै लर्निङहरू छ यो टुर्नामेन्टबाट हैन अब कता कता चुक्यौं भन्ने छ हैन अब आगामी दिनहरुमा हामी त्यसलाई अझै इम्प्रुभ गरेर बढ्नेछौँ
Nepal will now focus on ICC League 2 series, which is in September. Another international series for Nepal is likely before that. That is all for the moment. Thank you for watching T20 World Cup special with Prarambha and Vinay. Up next, stay with us.